on this computer. Okay. Got it. Okay. So tonight we're going to just have fun. I don't know how well this class is going to go. Like I said, I have pre-built some things, so if all goes off the rails, the main thing is I want to show you some of the advanced tools in Unity, like creating a terrain, working with particle systems, fun stuff like that. And then I want to make sure to try and leave enough time. We're going to go down to room 313. I'll show you how you can start using the goggles. Okay. Okay. I have this weird setup. There's my Macintosh here and my Windows machine here. I'm going to do my work on the Windows machine tonight because when you ultimately start doing VR, you have to use Windows now, you know, until you can pay the $3,500 for Apple's. Never mind. But as a result, you know, the mouse situation is slightly different. So I'll probably make all kinds of really weird mistakes. And wind up with very strange looking terrains. Now, one of the things that I want to mention is when you start up Unity, okay, and you create a new project, you have a choice. This is slightly different in later versions of the Unity Hub of which version of Unity to use, okay? I'm going to suggest for now that you use this 2019.4 version, because that's one of like I mentioned last time, I think they have these long-term sort of stability. That's one of the ones that was long-term and stable. And it's the last one that used the old system for getting the VR goggles to work. And the old system was actually much, much simpler. The new system, we're still kind of debugging. Yankee and I are down there doing our work. But it's just for now, there's not that great a difference, you know. At some point, you're going to want to upgrade to 2022.F1 or something like that. But I think for now, just use this 219.4. So I'm going to go ahead and create a project, and we're just going to start rolling right off the bat. So it's going to be the 3D project. I'm going to put it on my desktop. Actually, I have a subdirectory here, okay, that I'll go up, and it's like class 2023, okay? So I'm going to select the folder, and then I'll give it the name, something other than new Unity project. I'll call it class Unity. All right. So I hit create. And now, hopefully this, the good news, hopefully, well, yeah, I keep saying hopefully, the Windows machine is much faster than the Macintosh. So hopefully we won't have to wait too long for stuff to do things like initializing the project template. No, that wasn't too bad. All right. So here we go. Yeah. I have to think of things to say now. Oh, I can look back and forth from my two computers on the screen up there. There's a lot of Brads around right now. It's kind of frightening. Okay. So yeah, what we're gonna do is just wait. Let me think. Doug's not here. I can't tell my good jokes. Yeah.
He's what makes you make good jokes.
Yeah. Well, we have a contest. Bear in mind, he was my first teaching assistant. So, okay. All right, here we are. Great. Life is good. What's that?
Very first teaching assistant?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. 1987. Yeah. Well, he's retired from Apple now, you know, so that shows you it's been a while. Okay. So we got my things. Now, typically in the past, what I've done is gone up here and created a plane underneath it so that we have some kind of reference point. Well, this time I'm going to create a terrain. Okay. And there's a couple of things that are weird about this. Okay. First of all, it's huge. And second of all, this kind of reflects how Unity started, and then people started adding different stuff to it. They do this weird thing where they don't put you anywhere in the middle of the train. They put the train at the corner of the point 000. Okay. I don't like that. I'm going to move my terrain back. Oops, let me get this out of the way. Okay, I'm going to make my terrain be, again, you can look up at this little jobby here, okay? This is the x-axis is now going left to right. I'm going to put it first of all, I want to set the size of it. Okay, down here, these little gear things, that allows you to edit a lot of the parameters. And one of the parameters I'm going to edit is the size, because it's 1,000 by 1,000. That's too much for me tonight. I'm going to make it 100 by 100. And you can also set how high you're going to make any mountains you produce. Okay, I'll just say 100 there too, for the heck of it. Okay, so now you can see it's now reflected in the terrain up here. But the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move, oops, here, somebody's coming in. Hey, oh, Nina, good grief. Yeah, what?
My stuff went to 168 because that's the only way I can go to the other side, you know?
Holy smokes, that's a long ride. That's where I go. Holy smokes, holy smokes. Well, yeah, Nina's, yeah, she's done all this. She was young, like several years ago. So anyhow, we're doing terrain and particle systems tonight, and then we're going to go show off how you can start up the goggles. Actually, your project is on the machine down there, so we could even look at it. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, no.
Yeah, down on 313. Okay, anyhow, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift this to be 50 minus 50 units over, so that I'm now kind of in the middle of it. Okay, and I'm also going to, when I put on my observer, I'm going to put him right there. So 000 point is now right there, but it's actually 0. Yeah, well, that's the 0 point because I've shifted this whole thing around. Okay, so that's my terrain. What can I do with it? Well, let me make sure to save this. Down here, now there's a lot of really good tutorials about, there's many features of terrain editing, okay? But the first one you're going to do is click on this paintbrushy things, and it says paint terrain. And you go, well, I don't want to paint the terrain, I want to make some mountains. Well, if you click on this, you get all kinds of things, and the default for some reason is painting a texture. Oh, I forgot to finish off what I was saying about how this reflects how Unity grew and the fact that it was positioned weird. There's other weird things, like when you create a plane, the units are in factors of 10 over every other Unity object. And that's because as they were building this, different people did different stuff, and they did them differently. So whoever did this terrain editor said, I'm going to make the terrain start with a corner at 0, 0, 0, not the middle of it, like every other object in Unity. So that's how it happened. And for some reason, the default here is to paint the texture. We're going to do that ultimately, but the first thing we want to do is raise or lower the terrain, okay? And then you get to go down here and choose a brush. I'm going to choose this one because it's all wibbly. Oh, that's even wibblier, yeah. And now you can set the brush size, okay? If you go out here, you can see how big my brush is, okay? And this opacity is important. That's how quickly does it react. So for example, if I have the opacity set up really high and I click on this, it like makes pretty big mountains, okay? Now I'm going to get that back. So the opacity, this is also important when you start painting textures. You can overlay textures on top of each other and have some of it kind of shine through. But let's go ahead and do this. Okay, I'm going to create a few mountains here. I'm going to take the opacity down a little bit because it's a little bit much right now. Not that far. Okay. And yeah, let me just sort of bring this up, and I'll paint some nice little mountains here. Get some good mountains back there. Get some mountains coming up here. Yeah, mountain eyes, mountain eyes. I'm just holding down my mouse and moving it around, and I get all this cool stuff happening. Okay. So there we go. We'll put some big mountains back here. I'll go with maybe this. Let's see what that does for us. All right. Makes rounded mountains. We don't want rounded mountains. We want big mountains. I'm whispering for some reason. Okay, so you can go in, and then you can even go in and you can smooth the height out on this. There's all kinds of things that you can do to this, you know. And if you want to see how it's looking, you can always look at the game view and see that's what it's looking like, okay? Well, let's make it cool. We want to be able to walk around this scene, right? So let's go ahead and bring our observer stuff over. And again, you can get that from the website, you know, but I've already downloaded it here. So I'll just go ahead and do that. Get this out of the way. And I'm going to go in here to over here, I have Unity programs. Okay, and here they are, the observer package and the 2020 observer package. Now, if you're coming from your Macintosh, you may have already installed this, so you won't have to do this again. Use this one if you're using version 2019, which again, I'm recommending right now. This is for the later versions with the more extended kind of virtual reality stuff that's a little bit trickier to set up. So I'm going to take this package, okay? Let me get my Unity back up here. Okay, and I will simply drag it over onto my assets. Okay, and then it's going to ask me, what do you want to import? And you can select what you want. I'm going to import everything here. So let me get this. And I'll say import. And you're going to see a folder show up here at the top level of my assets. It says observer. Okay, there it is. Okay, so if I double click on that, it opens up all the stuff. And the thing I'm going to go for, I mentioned this last time, but I forgot to tell you what it was. Prefabs. Prefabs are objects that contain a whole bunch of stuff already about them, okay? Like the size, the fact that it might have a capsule, or it has certain speed characteristics and things like that. So I'm going to get my observer prefab. I'm simply going to take it and drag it out onto my scene. I'm going to get my observer prefab. I'm going to simply take it and drag it out on my scene. There we go. Okay. Boom. I'll put it right there. And we will look at this prefab, and I will just reset it to be 0, 0, 0, which we know is right there right now. Okay. Now, there is a problem. And in fact, if I were to run this, you would see a lot of error messages appear in the console. The observer prefab that I have built already has a camera on it. Okay, because the camera is set in the head of the observer. Remember, that's how we used to do it in the olden days. But notice that we now have two main cameras. So what I have to do is go up here and delete this one. Okay, now we're done. Now we can go into play mode, and you can use your arrow keys, and you can actually wander around your terrain. Ooh. Ooh, let's look around this way. Let's look up there. Ooh, isn't that great? Wow. Now, you have to be careful, especially because I'm lining you right up at the edge, because if you go off the edge, because this thing is reacting to gravity, you will fall down. Oh, wait, you didn't fall down. How weird. I wonder why that is. Oh, because I haven't installed a rigid body. There's a problem with this observer. This is just the basic thing. Yes.
Can you walk into the terrain?
Well, that's what I was just going to show you. Okay, there is one problem, and I made a decision about not including the rigid body like as a default. But right now, if I try to walk into it, I'll go through it. Which is maybe not what you want. Okay, so let's go ahead and fix that right now. I'm going to add a rigid body to it, which will also allow me to trigger things and do all kinds of good stuff like that. So let me click on the observer, go down here. We don't need to see this. We don't need to see that. Okay, there's our observer move script that has the speed on it and everything like that. But we're going to add a component. I'm going to go down here to physics. Oops, wrong one. Physics. Yeah, I told you I'm going to have mouse problems like all night. And we're going to select the rigid body. Okay. And if you remember, it's important to freeze the rotation, because otherwise the poor guy's going to flop on his back and wibble around, and it's going to be just terrible. And believe me, you don't want to see that with the goggles on, because it is nausea inducing. Nina knows for sure. So I'm going to freeze my rotation in these different ways. And now when I play the game, because it's interacting with the collider of the terrain, I can actually climb the mountains. Whoa. I'm just a mountaineering kind of guy here. Look at that. Oh, and look, there's the plains way beyond. Yeah, but now, because this is following the dictates of gravity, if I, in fact, go off the edge, I'll back off the edge so you can see what happens. I can go backwards, and and you're hosed. You have to restart. Okay. So this is all exciting, but you're thinking, but Brad, that terrain really looks terrible. It's looking like it's like gray and white squares. How can you make it look like something better? That's where you go up to the terrain editor again, click on the terrain, and you notice that this thing has what we defaulted to, paint a texture. Textures are the things that give every object in Unity, every game object, like its characteristic look. All right. So I need to find a texture. All right. So I'm going to edit the terrain layers. This is how you add a texture. Okay. And I'm going to create a layer. Okay. And it gives me an option of different textures I could add. Now notice that some of them are quite goofy. Okay. Let's just for fun, let's add this as our texture. Okay. So I double click on it and look, it turned into these weird things. Okay. And in fact, if I play the game and you look at them up close, you'll see that if I play the game and you look at them up close, you'll see this isn't working for some reason. I fell off. Oh, darn. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, all right, here we go. Well, it's actually, you can, why the heck isn't this working? That's not good. Should be working well. Well, let's pretend like it worked. You will see that actually that texture was mapped onto this. And in fact, we don't really want mountains that look like weirdly orange or anything like that. So I can actually go up and delete this texture by selecting it and then going down to edit terrain layers, and I can like remove the layer and get back to this. But if you remember, when I was looking at all my textures, I didn't have any good ones. How do you get good textures? Welcome to the Unity Asset Store. Okay, let me make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. One thing, yeah, let me show you this Unity Asset Store. What you do is you go out here and you go to assetstore.unity.com. Okay. And when you download Unity, you created a Unity ID and everything like that. You'll have to do that for the asset store too if you want to download stuff. And over here, there's a place where you usually can see your assets. Okay, cart applications. I'm going to search for an asset though, and let me just see. Search for, say, textures. Let's search for ground textures. Okay. And it will show you all kinds of exciting ground textures eventually. Nina, do you know why it's not showing me my ground textures? Oh, there they are. I just wasn't scrolling down enough. Okay. All right. So look, you can get the landscape ground pack. You can get all kinds of stuff like this. The thing that I need to warn you about is that many of these are for sale, like $8.99 or $9.99. You don't want to spend money on these textures. What you can do is set the pricing so that you only see the free textures. Okay. Now you're seeing the free textures, and some of these look kind of cool. Outdoor ground textures. That looks kind of cool, doesn't it? Cartoon ground and floor textures. Well, we could have cartoons. Isn't that exciting? Or you can go to uGhui's free ground materials. Look at all those materials. All right. So what you do is you select one of these, and then you're able to add it. Let me just try this one out here. I'm not going to do it because I've already downloaded this stuff. Okay. But what you do is you click add to my assets. Okay. And at that point, you're going to be able to go back to Unity. Okay. And let me hide the thing here. And up here in these windows, there's this thing called the package manager. See this thing that says asset store? I think in the newer versions, they don't even have that. You used to be able to open up the asset store from within Unity. You can't do that anymore. You have to go to the web version and add it to my assets. Then if you go to this package manager, you can actually see, it's going to load the packages, that in the Unix registry, there is my assets. Okay. And there they all show up. Takes them a minute. Okay, we're going to scroll down. These are all assets that I have bought from the, not bought, but gotten from the asset store. Okay, and you will in fact see down here, outdoor ground textures. That was one that I got a while ago. So I'm going to select this guy. Now, if there's a little thing here, that means it's already been downloaded. So you don't have to download it again. It doesn't hurt if you do. But once you download it, then you can go ahead and import it. Okay. So I'm going to hit import. It's preparing the package. It's decompressing, I can tell, because it tells me right there. All right. And now these are all the things that I will get when I import this thing. Now, a lot of these things you don't want to get. In fact, there's some packages that have like just enormously horrible things that, you know, just take huge amounts of space on your things. For example, I don't really need to see the demo scene that they've set up. Okay. So I'm going to click that off. I'll just collapse it. The rest of these are in fact stuff that I might have. They're different grounds. And I'm going to say, okay, let's import them all. So I'll say import. Okay. There we go. Import, import, import. Import, import, import. Yeah, if this, don't worry. We're almost halfway through the class now, okay? Because we're going to do particle systems after that, and then we'll go down and, you know, see how things go. I get scared of just overwhelming you guys too much. So no, okay. All right. There's lots of great tutorials on using the asset store and stuff like that too online. That's the good news about Unity. Again, there's over 1 million users of the thing. So I'm going to close off my package manager. And now when I go to, look, I got this thing called ADG textures here in my assets. Okay. And look, there's ground volume 1. If I double click on that, there's all these different ground things, and there's like ground 1, and we can actually see what it looks. The one to look at is the one that's called diffuse, because that's the basic set of like colors and stuff that's going to be mapped onto the thing. So that doesn't look too bad. I wouldn't mind having a landscape that looked like that. So let's go back up to our terrain now. Okay. And now we're going to edit our terrain layers. And we're going to create a layer. Now, the first layer, it will automatically add it to the entire terrain. The other ones you're going to paint it on. You'll see in a second how I'm going to do that, okay? So let's look here, and I'm just going to search for ground layer, okay? And look, there's ground 1 diffuse. That's the one I wanted, by golly. So let me click on that, double click on it. And now, look at that. I've created, oh, I know why I'm not moving. Look at that. I see exactly what happened. Okay. When I added the rigid body, I forgot to move this guy up by 1 and see how he's like halfway. This is actually, Yangshi, this is what you were asking about. Okay. This is actually like I'm in the terrain. When I added the rigid body, I became frozen in the terrain, which isn't a good thing. Okay. So I need to take my observer and I need to add him up by 1. So now he's above the terrain. Now when I move, I'll be able to get there. And I'll go into my mountains and, oh, it's going to be so great. But look, it still looks really terrible. In fact, you can see like a repeating pattern to this stuff. It's not too bad with this particular texture, but it doesn't look very real. It doesn't look very cool. It doesn't look like what I want. Here's what you can do. If you go back to your terrain, okay, and you go down here, and you select this texture, look, you get these different things, and you can change the metallicness of it. Ooh. Or you can change the smoothness of it, which doesn't really do much of anything. Well, I guess, oh, look, ooh, shiny. Ooh, let's do that, okay? All right, but the thing that really makes a big difference is this thing called tiling. See, you can see the repeating patterns there. That's because the size of the tiles are 2 by 2. I'm going to click on this. If you click on these things and they're like, see how that thing turned into like 2 little arrowy things? If I click on it, I can actually just run my thing and look what's happening to our texture. Okay. I'm stretching it out in the X dimension and it's looking kind of bizarre now. It's looking kind of more realistic now in a weird way. Okay. So let me stretch out the Y ones. And now, oh, that's starting to look pretty cool. Yeah, that's the mountainous place that I want to live in, by golly. Let me rotate this up a little bit. Yeah. Oh, yeah, look at that. So let's go see what it looks like walking around. Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah, we're gonna have to add some sound to that, aren't we? Okay. All right. So that looks good, but I want to have a bit more feature to my terrain. Okay, so this is the last we're going to do with textures for a while. Oh, I forgot to tell you one thing. When you go to the asset store and you're looking at these things, let's see, where are we? Pay close attention to this original Unity version. Okay, because if you try and load in an asset that's a higher version than what you're using, like you said, the Unity version that was being used was for Unity 2022 and up. It wouldn't work because I'm using 2019. It won't even allow you to put the texture in or the object in that you're wanting or anything like that. I mean, you can get all kinds of stuff from these asset stores. You know, there's like, you know, medieval castles that you can download and put in the middle of your mountains if you want. You know, it's a pretty dramatic resource to have. Okay.
I'm using the 2019 because of the changes with the.
Yeah, we have the 2020 and above. No, not the licenses. The camera rig radically changed between 2019 and 2020 or so. Okay. And we have some problems with it. Yeah. It has to do with particular versions and things like that. So, and the 2019, all you have to do is click, we'll show you guys later, you click one button and it's virtual reality ready. For the 2020 ones, you have to install this XR plugin and then get that going. Yeah, it's annoying, but it works. Okay, so let me add another terrain layer. Okay, so I'm going to go here to edit and I'm going to create a new layer. Okay, and let me look at those ground textures again. Okay, so let me do a search here. I mean, I can find them by scrolling down. Oh, hey, look. All right. Yeah, what I want is maybe some nice grassy stuff. Okay, so I'm going to double click on this. And now it doesn't show up because, like I said, after the original sort of thing that you did, the first one you do, it will like put it on automatically. This one, I'm going to select this. And now I'm in paint texture mode and I can choose my brush. Let me do this one. And now I can like put on some grass. And again, this is where that opacity makes a big difference because right now my opacity is not too high. And you can see the background texture is kind of showing through it a little bit. Okay. And this is what's fun. When you do something like that and then you go down into the scene, it adds quite a bit to it. You know, I'm just doing this pretty quickly. You can spend half of your life like fooling around with different textures and stuff like that, you know. Well, yeah, maybe I made it a little too shiny. Okay. But then the last thing you can do, of course, is you can go to your directional light and you can change the angle of that and get some really cool effects. Come on. There we go. No, it didn't do it. No, let me have the sun coming from the other direction. No, let me have the sun coming from this direction. Yeah. So now if we go down into our scene, is going to really have some zip and pizzazz to it. Zip and pizzazz. You ready for zip and pizzazz? There you go. Yeah. Oh, look, and you can see my shadow as a capsule. You can turn that off if you want to. Okay. But we can go climbing up here and go, whoa, look at all this stuff that we're seeing. Whoa, whoa. And we can probably see the sun off in the distance over the horizon. Yeah, there it is. Whoa. Oh, come to me, son. Come to me. Come to me. Oh, no. Ah! Ah, there they go. That's my world. Okay. Sorry, couldn't resist. Okay, so we're starting to do some pretty cool stuff with this. Okay, the other thing that I want to point out that you can do with these textures is if you don't like that particular one, you can actually like click on this and you can edit the train later and replace the texture, or find a texture that you want and just kind of click and drag it over onto that thing. Okay, so for example, actually I think you have to click and drag it over onto the diffuse thing. Like suppose that was a little bit too green for me. Okay, let me go here to ground 2. Oh, what do you suppose that would look like? Oh, that would look terrible, I think. Yeah, let's not go there. Okay. Let's look at ground 3. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, let's put that over there. Okay. So let's go to our terrain. And we go down here and we're going to simply take this ground 3 diffuse. We're going to drag it over here and click it on that guy. Whoa, look at that. Wow. Anyhow, well, you can get carried away and spend the rest of the class doing this if you want, but I should probably do something else. Okay. Actually, there's something else that I want to do is maybe let's add some sound to this already. Okay. What's the easiest way for me to do this? Because I don't want to get bogged down with doing too much with the sound. I did create some sounds already for this, and I might be able to just import them. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Okay. Let me show you the Max MSP thing that I did. Okay. It's over here, and it's called, oh, what happened here? This is kind of screwed up. Oh, yeah, move that over there. Okay. I'm using this Max patch called Ambient Wind. Okay. And remember, there's 2 basic ways of getting stuff to happen with sound. One is to have the sound associated with a particular object, or one is to have it with a general object that's going to just play back no matter what. We're going to do the, oh my gosh, what happened there? Fine. Okay, I think, let's see if this is working. I think I have to reset the stuff in Max. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Yeah, this is the ambient wind. Okay. What I'm doing is I'm using a program in uRTcmix called IIR, which stands for an infinite impulse response filter. Okay. And what you can do is you can set up a frequency, a bandwidth to the frequency, and then the amplitude, and then you can run noise through that. And I'm actually adding a little fade up and fade down to this noise. And I'm having each one go for 15 seconds, but I'm going to have it get scheduled again 7 seconds, 7.5 seconds in. So they're all going to overlap. And each time is going to choose a random frequency for the center of the filters between 100 hertz and 300 hertz. And it will sound like this. Okay, like I said, I don't want to go in, I'll just skip through that really quick, but hey, okay. So it sounds like this. Yeah. You want me to go further with this? Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Sorry, guys. Again, I'm cognizant of, I don't want you to get too burned out. We'll do particle systems after this, and then attach a sound to that, and then we're done. Okay. But I think we're done. Yeah. Let me go a bit further then. Okay. Here's how it works. All right. First thing I'm doing is I'm going to create an envelope. Okay. And the syntax for that is you say, I'm going to create a line, and the line means you're going to give it a point and then a value, then a point, then a value, then a point, then a value. Okay, this should be sort of routine. All right. So this is going to make a point value 0, then a point of 1, value of 1, a point of 2, value 0, and it will stretch that out for the duration of the note. So basically it'll fade up, fade down. Okay, is that making sense? Okay, good. All right. So then I said the duration, you didn't have to use a variable, but I did. And now I'm doing 2 of these II noises, okay? One of them, this is, if I looked at the documentation for it, which I won't bring up now, that's going to put it in the left channel, because we're going to, that's actually the frequencies, the stereo spread between 0 and 1. 1 is in the right, 0 in the level. If I put 0.5, the sound would be in the middle. Okay. Okay. But I'm just doing something cute. I'm going to put one of these noises in the left channel, one of them in the right channel. Okay. And what I'm going to do for each one, setup works with II noise. You give it a frequency value, which will be the center of the filter. Then you give it the bandwidth around that center, and then the amplitude of that. You can actually have a whole bunch of different sort of things, create a very bumpy spectrum if you want, but I just want a single sort of sound right there in the middle. All right. So this is going to choose a random frequency between 100 hertz and 300 hertz, set up this noise with the bandwidth of 50 hertz, and play it. Then it's going to choose another frequency between 100 and 300, which will be different from that one, set it up, and play it into the right channel. So each time this script gets triggered, I'm going to get 2 channels of noise, one in the left, one in the right, and they're both going to have different frequencies. Yes.
So how does the IIR tie into this?
That's IIR. If you look at the documentation, there's not just II noise, but there's also II input. There's also II pulse and buzz. And basically, there's a whole family of different II things that will apply the filter to different things. II noise applies the filter to noise. II input would apply it. I could send an input signal through this, and it would filter it. Okay.
So what's the impulse response?
Oh, that's just a description of the filter. Yeah, I should have made that clear. Yeah. Basically, there's all kinds of different filters that you can use. I have a whole lecture on filter theory that I can point to if you want.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, okay. There's basically 2 different primary types of digital filters. One's called a finite impulse response. The other one's called an infinite impulse response. It has to do with how the filter equation works on the samples to achieve the filtering effects.
Oh, so it's not like you're not like plugging in.
No.
It's not like a convolution reverb.
No.
Oh, I see.
No.
Okay.
No, this is just a particular way of doing the filter equation.
Got it.
Yeah.
What would happen if you delete one of them? And
You
put the uRTcmix 2 for 2 channels on the bench.
Oh, then I would just get a single mono filter sound.
But even if the uRTcmix patch was labeled as 2 to be both stereo.
Well, if I deleted this, okay, like,
I mean, deleting this and then putting the uRTcmix space 2 on the
Max.
on the max. Yeah.
okay, I already did.
Okay, I can see it.
See?
Okay.
Right, yeah.
But
No.
still it would be mono.
It would be, in that case, it would be mono. If I didn't do anything else, it would only play it in the left channel. If I left it at 0. If I put that at 0.5, it would be dead center, but mono. If I took the other one out.
Even if it had 2 outputs.
Right. Well,
So
it has 2 options, but see, if I took this out, it would only have 1 generator going to the 2 options. Okay. And I could say 0 here, or I could say 1 here, and it would go in the left channel or the right channel, or I could say 0.5 and it would go in the middle. Or I could say 0.2 and it'll go a little bit towards the left. Or I could say 0.8 and it will go towards the right more.
I see.
Okay. But again, with these both here, this one will go to the left, that one will go to the right, and they'll go simultaneously because they both have the same start time.
Because in the other instruments we have done, I don't remember copying everything twice and then.
Oh, no.
Because
Yeah.
those sounded stereo to me.
Right.
What's the difference in here?
Right.
That's-
Well, the reason I copied it twice is because I wanted them to have different center frequencies. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just a cute effect that I did. You know, I said I want to have wind, but I don't want it to be just a mono weird wind. I want it to have like, you know, shifting frequencies that are going to like swirl
Yeah.
around your ears, you know. So that's what this does. And what
Sorry,
Okay.
how does the IRAN not, like, how does it not end up the same?
Oh, that's something else I should have explained. RTCMX scores always execute sequentially. Okay, so this guy goes to the setup, then it goes to the II noise, then this overwrites what was up above.
Yeah.
That setup will overwrite that one, okay, and then the II noise will get that as a result.
So is the setup like the cue of you know how like in filters in digital doors, you always have that cue thing that you can move around? It is that?
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. In fact, like I said, it's even fancier. You can have up to, I think, 512 different center frequency and bandwidths. So you could create a really weird spectrum if you want. Okay. But I just wanted like single humps because I want it to sound like wind. And it sounds like wind that way. Okay. So basically what I did was I took that, you know, and I did that thing where I copied it. I can just do that for you real quick because I have it handy here. So I'm going to control copy that. Then I'm going to hide my Maximus P. Hide my Maximus P. And I can go out here to the, shoot, I thought it was handy. Yes, the squirrelizer. Okay, and I can do this and I can paste it in, then type Control Z, Control D, and hit turn, squirrelize. And then remember, I copy this out into my Unity object. All right. And instead of copying it out, I'm just going to go ahead and bring it all in. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go leave this up down into my safety thing. Shoot. I hate when it does that. Let's go details. Okay, I'm going to go into my assets. Okay. And I already have a script here called, where is my script here? Well, I think I wound up putting this in a weird place accidentally. No, shoot, guys. Ambient sound. I'm totally missing out on this ambient sound. There's where it was. Yeah, I accidentally put this in the wrong place. I'm going to put it back up in my assets so I can find it. Okay. Okay. And down here, here's this ambient wind. This is the script that does what I want it to do. I'm going to go ahead and just import that script into my Unity so I don't have to write it over, but I'm going to go through it with you. I just don't want to have to like type it all in because that'll take precious time. So let me get my Unity thing back up here. Where is it? Here we go. Oh no, that's the hub. I don't want the hub up. Where's my Unity project? Actually, where did the Unity project go? Did I close it down for some reason? Did I accidentally hit Control Q on my Unity project? Well, darn.
I mean, it disappeared something, sort of crash.
It crashed?
I don't know.
No, it didn't crash.
Okay.
It's so happy. Yeah, see, it's already open.
Okay.
Where the heck is it?
Because it just disappeared.
Okay. What's that's my Linux. Okay. Where is it? Well, this is annoying.
You can do something like when showing home videos or something.
How do
It's
it's already open. Well, that's good to know, but how do I find it? Oh dear. This like I was worried about this happening with Windows. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're going to Okay, get to my task manager. Okay. Here we go. Unity editor. Where did it go? Unity editor. Okay. I'm going to end the task. End the task. Okay. And now go back to my Unity hub, start it back up again. Sorry, guys. Pay no attention to this part. This will start it pretty quickly now, though. All right. Well, what time is it now? How much time have I now wasted? 7 o'clock. Ugh. Okay, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do the particle systems, and life will be good. Okay, so let's go in and go to my assets. All right, and let's go to my. Jesus, everything is disappearing, guys.
Windows.
I was just going to say I am now in Windows hell, because I don't even know where the heck is my file explorer.
It's not your fault. Windows is awful.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm afraid Apple's not doing what there they all are. Yeah, except for my Unity thing.
Penguin is all bit on.
Yes, I know. Okay, all right. This is not good. This is not good. I'm gonna pause recording here for a second. Oh, this is not good. Recording. Okay, there we go. So now I'm going to go here to my assets, get the ambient wind script. I'm going to bring it into here, my Unity. There we go. And now I'm going to create a game object that's going to be empty. Okay. And I'm going to call it ambient wind. Okay. And the thing I'm going to do right away, because otherwise I'll forget it, is add an audio source to it so it will make sound. And then I'm going to take this script that I just imported and I'm going to just drag it up to that ambient wind game object, which for some reason didn't get renamed because I forgot to hit return after typing ambient wind. Okay, so let me take the ambient wind script and I want to show it to you then. Okay, we'll put it on this guy. Take the ambient wind script, put it on this guy. Because the script, let me open it up. All right. So let me show you the script. I think it needs to be compiled, and this will compile it. So that will be happy. Okay. Remember, I told you this class might be a little scattered. If I can't get this going, we're just going to move on. Okay. So this is how this works. Okay. This is all the RTC. Oh, that's why I don't have RTcmix in here yet. Oh, silly Brad. Silly Brad. Let's do that real quick. Let's go out here. This is annoying. Okay. And get here and go to the Unity programs. And what we want is our uRTcmix package. Got to bring that in. And we're going to import everything. Import. Okay. And this is the one where it says that I'm going to do like nasty things to you because I want to have like unsafe code. See, unsafe code. We're going to make it unsafe. We're going to go to player, project settings, go to the player, go down to other settings, scroll way down here, unsafe code, allow it, yes. Boy, this is getting tough. Okay, so now I'm allowing unsafe code. Now let's go back and let's close our player. It's compiling the unsafe code. Yes, it's compiled. Now I can take this ambient wind, put it onto the object. Yes. Okay, ambient wind is there. Now let's take a look at the script, okay, and show you what happened. Okay, so all this stuff, this is what I copied from that beep object or from that uRTcmix template thing. And then in the start, which is the thing that initializes everything, I init the uRTcmix, and there's the score that I got from the scorealyzer. See, there's the II noises and everything like that. Then I send the score. Now remember, this score has a max bang at the end. So down here, where it is running the uRTcmix in this weirdly named function called onAudioFilterRead, I run the uRTcmix, and then I check the bang. And if there is a bang, in other words, if it's equal to 1, then I just take that score and I send it off again. So that's exactly like getting a max bang kind of circulating around. All right. So now we should be able to play this and we will hear the cool ambient wind sound that will add so much to our screen, to our scene. Yeah, hear how good that sound works. Jeez, what have I done wrong now? Well, stop. Yes, I know I'm screen recording. Okay. Find the little arrowy thing. All right. Stop. Okay, now let's go here, ambient wind. Audio source, life looks good there. Let's run this. Okay. And it's not doing anything. Well, dang. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you the full-blown thing that works after I do the particle systems. I've probably done something really stupid that I just am forgetting about right now.
It's not a Windows issue that if you're doing Zoom, there's no.
No, because it was working just a little bit ago. Remember, I was working with Max MSP. You know, I thought maybe that might be it, but I checked it out at home too. At least I hope so. We'll find out. Okay, but let me go ahead and add the particle system, and then I'll show you the finished version that I did, and show you how you get that to work in the VR world. Particle systems. What are they? What use are they? How come they're so much fun? Here's what you can do. Is you can go to the asset store again if you want. Okay. Damn it. Come on. So we'll go out here. Okay, here's our asset store. And we can do a search for, let's see here. Oh yeah, here's my account, by the way. See that little B up there? Okay. If I click on that, sometimes it'll say I can log into my account. Or whatever, okay? That's what you're going to have to do at some point, okay? But let me, instead of looking for ground textures, I'm going to look for particle systems. Oops. Particle system, okay? And you'll see that there's quite a few that you can download if you want, okay? Living particles, particle image, Poison FX particle systems, you know, liquid particle systems. Some of these are pretty expensive too. Again, we want to look at the free ones. Pricing. There's the dollar particle system for $4.99. I think they're wrong. Okay. All right. So you can see there's quite a few here that you can kind of like download and fool around with. I've already downloaded some. So let me go ahead and add that into my project here. So I'm going to go to Window. I'm going to go to the Package Manager. Fetching my packages. Okay. And the particle system I want, okay. My assets, yeah. Let me load more. Is this one down here, okay? In this thing called standard assets. Notice it's for 218.4. This has now been deprecated. If I look at it, it's not going to show up on Unity's very, very far, but it's got a lot of really good stuff, okay? Deprecated. If you want to use this, let me know and I can give you the package. You can't download it from the asset store any longer, but I've already downloaded it. So I'm going to import it. Now this is part of the reason this might be a problem is because this was the set of assets that Unity would give you to like fool around with when you first started Unity, all right? And there are many, many things in this. And this is one of those where you want to go through and kind of prune it a little bit before you import it, because there's all kinds of things like, I really don't need any, I don't need any sample scenes at all, okay? So let me close all that off. I don't need any 2D assets because I'm making 3D. I don't need any cameras, okay? I don't need any characters, okay? I do need the cross-platform input stuff because that's important. The editor, I think I'll keep the editor stuff, okay? The effects, don't need the effects. The environment, don't need the environment. I already got my like stuff, okay? Fonts, I don't need fonts, okay? Close this off. Particle systems, yes, I do need them. And look at all this cool stuff. Fireball, fire cloud, flame licks. Oh, you'll find others that are just as good. Believe me, this is a big deal. I don't need physics materials. I don't need prototyping.
I have a question.
Yes.
So once you import these to your project and then you make an application.
Yeah.
Does it mean that it will copy all the stuff or only the?
No, only the stuff you use. That's the thing that I was worried about that too, because I thought, oh my God, my final application is going to be 10 gigabytes, you know, but Unity is very clever. It will only use the assets that you've drawn from. Okay. But this is just to help me like, you know, actually downloading, because otherwise it's going to take like 5 minutes or so. Oh, look, I don't need vehicles, or as my grandson calls them, vehicles. Okay. So now I can say import. And it's going to import them all. Oh, it's importing. I think it's, what the heck is going on here? Did it actually import them? No, it didn't, because I clicked wrong. Oh no, darn it all. Look, see, I just can't mouse correctly. Actually, maybe the import screen went behind. No, shoot, sorry guys. I'm gonna re-import it. Or actually, if it did import it, it will show them. We'll do this quickly. All right. No, shoot fire. Okay, so I don't need the sample scenes. Okay, I don't need the 2D assets. Okay, I don't need the cameras. I don't need the characters. I do need the cross-platform input. I do need the editor. I don't need the effects. I don't need the environment. I don't need the fonts. I do need the particle systems. I don't need the physics materials. I don't need prototyping. I do need the utilities. I don't need the vehicles. And now I'm going to hit import with hopefully clicking it properly. There, click. Yes. All right, we're importing. Boy, these videos must be just painful for people to watch. I mean, it's
The jokes help.
okay, right.
YouTube, you can do 1.5.
Oh yeah, I do that. Yeah, I do that routinely. I talk pretty hard. It's very good. Okay, maybe I should do the whole class like that. Okay, okay. Class Unity. Okay, I'll reload it. What the heck? Okay. All right. So life is good. We've got our script happening here. Okay, that isn't working, but hey, that's life. But let's look and see what we've got here under our standard assets. Okay, so we go in, and here we've got particle systems, and that's where the prefabs are, right? Those are the things we want. And look at all these cool prefabs you can get with a particle system. Okay.
Unity.
Yeah. Oh, that was bad. There's some key combination that I hit sometimes that the guy tells me that Unity is like a scene editor or something like that. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to look at some of these particle systems. Okay, let's look at explosion. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so I'm going to put it out here, and there it is. Okay, and we can go to explosion, and doesn't look like it's doing much of anything, does it? Oh, wow. Here we got an error. Oh, I forgot about this. Okay, let me get rid of this explosion. This is because this is now deprecated. See where it says here on our console that GUI text is obsolete. GUI text has been removed. You use UI.text instead. It tells me what to do. If I double click on this, I can go in here and say UI.text. Okay, but it's still got a little red thing about it because it says show potential fixes, Control+Alt/Enter. Let's try Alt/Enter, Alt/shoot. Alt/Enter. We want to go with this Unity engine. Yeah, life is good. Okay, save that. Now we'll go out here. Oh, shoot. This is all screwed up, guys. I did something seriously wrong. Okay. All right. So we're going to give up on this version of class, and I'm going to load up the one that actually works, and I'll show you what we did, and then we'll go down and have fun with it. Okay. All right. Because our audio isn't working, our particle system was put probably because I clicked something wrong. Shoot. So what I'm going to do is go here to my Unity hub and go to week 11 try, not class Unity, because this is the one I actually finished. Okay. And it has a couple of things. Yeah, it would have taken me more time than I have to go through the other stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to show it to you, and I'll put this online. You can download it and run it. Life is good. Okay, because I do want to go down the hall, and yeah, that's where it really comes alive. Okay, Unity, fire up. There we go. We're importing. Life is good. All right. Jokes. Why did the chicken cross the road?
Why?
To get to the other side. Didn't see that one coming, did you? Oh dear. All right. Here it comes, here it comes, here it comes.
Big project.
Yeah. Well, again, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't take out that I probably could have in some of these. So what Nina was asking is it's importing all the stuff. In fact, I could have imported that entire package of standard assets. When you build your final application, it only brings in the ones that you used in your project. So it will ignore all the other stuff, but it's still annoying, and generally almost every asset you download will have like several sample scenes. Just get rid of them unless you want to look at them for some reason, because you don't need them in your project and they just import a lot of stuff. So, yeah. Okay, now it's doing those textures. Yeah. See, I could have gotten rid of a lot of those textures probably because I don't need all of them, but who knows? Maybe some were really appealing to me. Okay. And yeah. Here we go. What I did, I'll tell you ahead of time while we're loading this in, is that basically I found a particle system. It was a fireworks, and it looked really cool. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I could walk along my terrain and at some point trigger a fireworks display on one of the mountains? So I put in a wall and made that the trigger. And the trigger, as I went through it, actually would reach out to the particle system and turn it on. Okay.
Is the wall invisible?
Yes, because I could turn the mesh renderer off. Okay. And basically that means that the wall is still there. And I set it up with the is trigger thing. So I'll show you how that works and then we'll get going. And I'll show you, it turns out getting this to run in VR is ridiculously easy. Okay. The next version isn't. Oh, this is also something, when you download stuff from me from the website, you're going to see something like this and you go, oh, nothing is there. That's because I do this thing. I remove the library folder because that adds a half a gigabyte to your project size. It takes you then 20 minutes to download the thing. What you have to do is go to the scenes and then double click on the sample scene. And that brings everything in for you, okay? So this is the version that I built at home, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to walk into
Unity editor.scene view.
I knew I was going to do that. Some key combination that I hit triggers that, okay? And I'm not sure why it needs to tell me that it is the Unity editor.scene view, but it really feels compelled to do that, okay? All right, okay. So let me show you over here, this FW trigger, that's the fireworks trigger. So if I turn the renderer on, you'll see there's a big giant wall. I can't click. Stop. There, it's a big giant wall, okay? And on that wall is this script called FW trigger. And I'll just show you that script real quick because it has one thing that's kind of interesting, okay, in terms of uRTcmix. Oh, I know why it wasn't playing in the other one. I forgot to bring uRTcmix main up into the main area. Idiot. Now I see what I did wrong. Okay, so here's what's interesting, okay? First of all, I have to find the fireworks object and I assign it to this particle system variable, okay? This is typical of everything that happens in Unity. And once I do that, now I initialize uRTcmix, but I don't start any scripts here because I don't want the sound to start until I hit that trigger. So on trigger enter, what it does is it starts the particle system and then it sends the score. And the score is this sort of like little granular synthesis thing. I won't bother to turn it on right now, but it goes with the particles. Let me show you how it works. So as I play this, okay, there's my scene. There's my scene, okay. And you can see I did pretty much the same thing I did here. I put some grass on different parts of it and everything like this. Now, what you don't see is there's that big wall there that's going to trigger both the particle system to play and uRTcmix to play the particle system sound. Hey, you know what? I'm not hearing the sound. You're right. This is a Unity. This is a problem with Unity talking to Zoom. Okay, so you're not going to hear the sound, but you'll hear it when we go down to the other room. But notice that as I go closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and closer. Oh, there's the sound. Wow, that worked. Holy smokes! Why isn't the wind sound going? I don't know. How weird, because I heard it before. It was like a nice ambient wind sound. Okay, let's see if we're getting any like action coming through here. No. How odd. Oh, look, there's an error message right there that says the associated script cannot be loaded. Please fix any compiler. It says the script is missing. Well, that's not a good thing. Oh. Well, there is the script. I'm going to save it. I'd really like to hear that windy script, you guys. Okay, let me put this script on here. Okay, and now I probably have two of them on there. What script is missing? So I'm going to get rid of this one. I'm not sure, maybe when I was like moving it around, I accidentally moved it out of the, oh, I did. Remember I moved it? Oh, what an idiot. Yeah, this will work. Okay, now you're going to hear the full thing, and then I'll show you how to turn on VR and we'll go down the hall. Okay, here we go. So now you're going to hear, cool. Oh, yeah. Should add this to this. Ooh, this is pretty loud. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Not too much. Okay, so now we go in. We go in. Cool. backwards. Do it again. So at last, we have the Unity thing of our dreams. We want to go see it in VR. Here's what you do to make it VR viewable. Go to this player project settings again. And you go down here to this thing that says XR settings, okay? I'm going to open that up. And in fact, it's already set to go. This thing here, virtual reality supported, you can turn that on and off, okay? Generally, if you're working without the VR stuff, you want to turn it off, okay? But if you click it on, it takes it like a minute or two. It will also identify that we have Oculus goggles and it's ready to go. All you do is put on the goggles, play the thing, and you're in reality. Want to go and see it? Okay, let me stop my recording. Oh, shoot.